Second segment time. That drive.
Oh, so are we done talking about that?
We just kept going. It's like
I could keep going.
I know we could. It was 40 minutes in. Okay. I guess we could turn the camera on for this part.
Read the camera off?
No, for this part. Okay. The news. So first thing is genetic strategy reverses insecticide resistance. What an interesting. That's an interesting one, to be honest.
Wait, go up. What is
What are you trying to read?
electric drive? Electric.
Where are you reading this? KDR. I don't know what that is. Reversing insecticide resistance with new type of gene drive system. Treatment for fields with. Oh yeah, because their plan is to use CRISPR to modify the bugs, and so they will be they will no longer be immune to the insecticides. Which is interesting because using that, you wouldn't have to worry about it like killing bees or whatever. Yeah, like they're just
all
showing
the other bugs and pesticides. Just part of circle of life. Like, are you killing other essential organisms that we need?
Yes. Well, look at the photo here. Here we're killing mosquitoes and bees, mostly just bees.
That's what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, what if we just didn't use any insecticides and pesticides?
Well, in some places of the country, we wouldn't have crops.
Oh, because they just kill them all?
It's gotten that bad
To
where
where
without mitigation, you wouldn't have crops.
Because all the other things and pests just eat it all and kill it all?
Well, because the issue is it's a monoculture system. You have one crop, and when there's one crop, if there's something that likes that one crop, there's nothing there to stop that one thing because it has unlimited resources.
I see.
And so they just get out of control because there's nothing there to limit it. So we have to use insecticides. Issue is they get smart. There's a type of insect that actually modified its life cycle so that it could line up with crop rotations. So, like, we were doing crop rotations so that the next year there would be soybeans there instead of corn, and then they don't eat soybeans, so they die. So then you could do corn the next year or whatever. It helps limit the amount of these insects. Well, the insects, because they replicate so goddamn fast, that they were able to quickly, within like a decade, figure out the crop rotation, and now they will even we extended it. It was only planted corn once every 6 years. Mm-hmm. Their life cycle modified, and they would stay dormant for 6 years, and then come out of the soil and eat all the corn. And it's just that's part of this issue is that these weeds and these insects, they can replicate faster than we can make the changes to our plants. And, well, they used to not be able to do that. Now they're doing it, and we don't know what to do. So we have to come up with other ways. This gene editing, as long as the insects don't develop a resistance to how we get the stuff inside them, this should work for a long time.
Yeah.
And then if they do come up with a resistance of some sort, I mean, depending on how it works, as long as you don't get one that becomes immune to like all means of invading them, we shouldn't be any good. But by that point, though, I'm kind of hoping that we've transitioned to vertical farming and everything's done in greenhouses.
Yeah.
Where literally, if you see a bug, you just grab it and kill it.
Yeah. Why can't all farming be done in a greenhouse? Just space and technology and it's expensive?
Expensive. That's right now. It's literally, we have the tech. It's just.
I noticed greenhouses, at least the ones over there on Antelope Valley Parkway. They're purple now. They're using that blue purple light. Is there some advantage to using that? At least I think they're greenhouses.
Yeah. Because, well,
I just saw at nighttime when you drive by, it's all purple in there.
well, they're running tests. I mean, they might not always use it, but that is.
I thought they were using that purple, blue. I'm sorry, blue. It looks purple, but it's blue and red light.
Well, yeah. Well, the advantage of that is you're not wasting energy.
Green, blue and red just use less energy.
Well, because you're not blasting the whole spectrum. You're blasting 2 specific wavelengths that you know will get used by the plant.
Oh wait, I'm dumb. Why use green? It's just going to reflect green.
Yep. Which means they won't be white.
I'm dumb.
So yeah.
That's why it's purple, because blue and red, and they're not using green.
Yep.
There's no point to use green.
Nope. And yellow and those are just kind of not natural LED
too close
colors.
Yeah, and they're also just kind of close to green.
True. So yeah, we use blue and red, and it looks magenta.
Yes.
Physics.
I know, I just realized that just now. I never realized why it was purple. And then just now, when I looked at your lights, I saw it's red and blue. Now, wait, they're not using green. Oh, they shouldn't use green. I'm dumb.
Well, yeah, but back in the day, when the original grow lights before LEDs came out, they just had to do white because that was the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I always question, though, because, like, some plants actually do need UV. And so I'm always questioning of how it's whatever.
What I've always been concerned about is that if I pull up
What's this?
I think this is the one.
It peaks in the green.
Yeah.
What's your point?
I'm trying to find a good picture. This might do it. No, this is one I want. I do want.
What are we looking for?
Yeah. So, yeah, it peaks in the green. But what I was always curious, though, is that even though the energy peaks in the green, most of the photons from the sun, what I heard, are red. Is that because you need more red photons? Is that because this is energy, and so you need more red to equal the energy output of what green is?
If it's a squared law, yeah.
Because that's what I've heard. I've heard the majority of the photons from our sun are red. Mm-hmm. Green is more energetic photons. Which means that is this spectral irradiance, which means that since it's peaking in the green, most of the energy is green. That means that you need more red photons to equal the green?
Yeah, and if it's a squared law, it will literally just take a crap ton of red to get close to the green.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'd have to look at some light equations to figure that out. I'm sure it is squared. Mm-hmm. Well, even if it's not, I mean, obviously that explains why plants are green then.
But
because if it's not squared and it's linear, it obviously explains why plants are green. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's question solved. I mean, it would make more sense for them to be black, but semantics.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else about radiance?
Well, I'm just thinking that. I mean, I guess that the sun's yellow during the day. I mean, that's just because of the atmosphere. But say you looked at the sun on the moon, right? It's still. What? It'd look white, wouldn't it?
Well, it's white, but I mean, it's got more.
It's a yellow star. But my point. Wait, would it look yellow?
It is white, but I mean, it's still like more yellow than like say a red dwarf or like a blue star.
What I was trying to figure out though, if the majority of the photons from the sun are red, if I stood on the moon and looked at the sun, would it not look red since the majority of the light is red?
It should look red.
And so I guess if it looks yellow, it's just being a drowned out version of red from the blue and the violets.
You mean from the green?
And the green.
You wouldn't need
you have all this over
the
here,
blue
too.
and the violets aren't going to be... They're I'm assuming it's a lot steeper.
Is that what it is? So although most of the photons are red, the green is just kind of washing it out a little?
That's what I would assume.
Let's see.
Why?
Well, no, I was going to look up.
Oh, Control 0.
Form space. Yeah. White. From our eyes.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What's Cora?
Oh, boy. Professional astronomer. You've never been to space, though.
We look at... You see a combination... See... Wait. Oh, whitish. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's...
Space pictures are always
I suppose...
cool.
I know, right? It is.
That's a cool photo of the radiators. Wonder if there's an advantage of those radiators being scrunched up like that instead of just spread out flat. Wouldn't you think there'd be more of an advantage if they were spread out flat?
I was thinking, perhaps it's trying to, represent some sort of parabolic mirror, it's trying to reflect it off itself. I don't know. But it does seem like if they just made one big parabolic reflector, it'd do even better. I don't know why it's like that.
No, they're trying to radiate heat away. Not reflect heat away.
Oh.
Or maybe it causes too much torque when they're spent all the way out. And so they're not as... So then we still need as many as we do, so they have to make them like that. Who knows? Or those things could just be from, the early 2000s, and technology just wasn't there. And so we're just like, not straight.
Straightly stronger yellow component. They read somewhere.
Great. Don't leave a link. Thanks, Cora. These people, they even I read somewhere. Why don't you go link it?
But it does make sense that because it's more red, it would shift the color of white
to yellow. The sun. Anyways, the next news segment, there's more to talk about. That's enough about plants.
The good one, this one?
Yes. So the Mars rover, I know it's Fox News, I'm sorry everybody, but they were the only people that had a article in Google. I mean, I didn't, whatever. Anyways, the Mars rover has some pebbles stuck. I was trying to figure out where the pebbles are stuck, and they just don't describe it very well. I think it's in the carousel that holds the sample tubes, or the bit. It's such a weird. I don't know. The descriptions don't really work. Anyways, they basically have to drop one of their samples, and they're hoping this will dislodge the pebbles, and they will be able to continue doing more samples. My question is, why didn't they I think for the next one, they should have a air compressor nozzle in the boom of the arm. Because that's the whole point of the Mars rover having this boom, is so that it can look at every single part of itself. If they just had a little nozzle in the end, they could probably blow those things right out. Although, maybe they don't want to do that, because that could cause... because the pebble flies and hits something then. But we do it on Earth all the time. Just...
What are we talking about?
So there's these pebbles. I wonder if they have a picture of them. There's these pebbles stuck in the Mars rover somewhere. They don't have a picture of the pebbles. And they're just in the way. They can't get. They're trying to collect a sample, and they're just in the. Again, all these. They just describe it so poorly. Where are the pebbles stuck? It doesn't really.
So does the pebble stuck continue?
Anyways, and I'm like, okay, why don't why didn't they put like an air compressor on the rover? It's nuclear powered, so you could do it. Why did they put like a air compressor with a little hose on a little arm, so then if there's pebbles stuck somewhere, or do they clean off your solar panels? I mean, I don't think Perseverance has solar panels, but why didn't they on like any of these really? Then you can just clean off your solar panels and keep going.
Yeah. Sure, there's some benefit to it.
They're like, oh, it's a thin atmosphere. It's an air compressor.
You could make it natural atmosphere here. You can literally just get a bottle of air, take it there, and it's already pressurized.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
So like an air compressor.
I could take this to Mars. It is now a pressurized vessel.
If it doesn't explode.
What?
If it doesn't explode before it gets there.
It is now a pressurized vessel.
Yeah. So an air compressor on Mars, it doesn't have to. I mean, you'd have to maybe.
The air would last a long time if you took an actual air compressor.
Like
a big old tank, take it there, it lasts forever.
True. I mean, it'd be better just to bring an air compressor.
Yeah, it'd probably take a while though to like fill up again.
See, that might be the only. That might be the issue, but like with the nukes on there, like, is it really that big of an issue?
You get those fans up to high power speed.
Or like
so you
if
break
you
a belt. What do you do if you break a belt?
Well, maybe that's why, because they don't want to use, because maybe an air compressor has too many moving parts.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe a pump is just something they don't want to screw with, because pumps aren't as reliable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Point is, it's just these pebbles are stuck, and I'm like, if this was on Earth, you just air compressor, problem solved. But obviously, you're on Mars, you can't do that, so they have to drop a sample, which they never thought they would do. They never thought they'd have to drop a sample. Which I can't believe nobody thought, hey, what if a pebble gets stuck here?
Oh, well.
Anyway, so yeah, Perseverance has been dealing with that this week. You didn't break it.
I thought I did.
Anyways, NASA Inspector General warns astronaut corpse may be too small.
Wait, does it stick to the bottom? Like this?
Yeah, that's how I had it.
Oh. What is this for?
They're cable ties.
Oh.
Anyways, NASA Inspector General warns astronaut corpse...
Or does it just come with your cord from a laptop or something?
I don't remember where they came with the microphone stand. They're very nice. They're fun to fidget with, too.
Yeah, I know. I keep fidgeting with them.
I know. Anyways, so yeah, which I find is the funniest thing. So, like, NASA knows how many astronauts they need. And they get so many applicants for astronauts all the time.
Yeah?
And yet they're like, where's your shortage? I'm like...
What's the title? Inspector... Too small?
Because they have so many planned missions to, like, maintain the space station, the Artemis programs, and some other planned missions. And they're just like, you don't have enough people. And I'm like, NASA could have hired, like, I don't understand how they have more people apply to be an astronaut. Actually, it's surprising. Not that many people do actually apply to be an astronaut. But the point is, like
people don't want to work anymore.
Well, no. They have like 1,000 people apply to be an astronaut.
Oh.
And NASA selects 10 people. It's like there's more than 10 people who are qualified for that.
Yeah. But are they physically qualified?
Again, out of 1,000 people, there's more than 10 people.
That physically and mentally fit all the checkboxes?
Well, yeah, Greg, some of these astronauts, they apply year after year after year.
But this is also like a government agency, so do they also... it probably takes a long time to go through all the requirements for, like...
True, but if NASA knows they need all these astronauts, they should... They should work on getting more.
They need to be, like, qualified through the government, through, like, security and...
Yeah, but I mean, they did. In 2000, they had 150 astronauts. It's like the most they've ever had.
Smallest size since the 70s. So they had more astronauts during the Apollo missions?
I don't.
Even though only 3 went into space? Oh, since 1970s.
Yeah, in 2000, they had 150. Well, and I don't know. We don't know what part of the 70s that was.
Still, it says since the 70s, which
right.
means it was small, at least this small.
At some point in the
smaller,
70s.
During the 70s.
We don't know when. I mean, the 70s were a pretty slow, other than after 72, it was a pretty slow year for manned spaceflight.
Well, yeah, because that was during the Cold War.
And they were developed, and we had to develop, and we developed the shuttle during that time.
Yeah.
We were using capsules, but I mean...
Cold War kind of threw us for a loop.
Yeah. Then we had the space shuttle, the 70s and the 80s, and the 80s and 90s, 2000. Yeah, that's something.
The Challenger.
Every 90s kid is just they have the space shuttle, which man, space shuttle was such a cool thing.
Space shuttle?
Yeah. I mean, think about just a launch in the space shuttle.
What are you talking about? Every 90s kid, what? What about the space shuttle?
Well, that was like an iconic thing of the 90s, was the space shuttle.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so, like, every day, says, yeah, I got that. 2000s kids, I mean, we had the space shuttle, but we hadn't had anything. And us as kids, we had the space shuttle, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But then, kids growing up in this last decade after, we have, what, the Soyuz? Yeah. They don't have anything else. This decade,
kids aren't going to know of anything. Everything they're going to know about was seen on a screen. I just thought about the other day. Only 2,000 kids are going to remember what a school bus is.
There is a possibility that by the end of the 2020s that we won't have school buses
Only
anymore.
2,000 kids are going to remember what a school bus is.
There is the possibility, yeah. Something I will say though is they had to shut down a school because they didn't have enough teachers because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They either had COVID, they didn't want to work because of COVID, or a variety of things, and so they had to switch to online. The whole school, one of the LPS schools.
Well, it's an LPS.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I've heard. I don't know. I don't know which one it was. Some elementary school, I think, which is absolutely insane.
I'll have to ask my dad about that. I guess he probably gets emails about all the schools and what goes on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was reading a thing somewhere, and it was talking about how the U.S. stacks up against other countries for vaccination rates. Mexico is beating us.
Oh, is that on the chart? The coronavirus?
Just look up vaccine rates.
Oh, can I just do this? Was it on this? That's what I want to know. Was it on this?
Nope.
It's not?
Doesn't look like they have vaccination rates.
Oh, they should. They should. Oh, wow. Look at these numbers.
Oh, my
India's
God.
more. Their rate isn't...
You also have to remember the U.S. isn't reporting crap anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it is worse now than ever. But...
Is it? I guess it is pretty high.
Is it? Looks at the graph. Literally, okay, remember... Well, give me
Look at this! Look at this! Remember when this down here used to be like this? Now this over here is like itty bitty.
Yeah. This is all Omicron. This is all because of the Omicron variant.
I just now realized, like, back in December of 2020... No. March of 2020. Right before everything shut down, we were talking all about this. And, like, this looked like this. Now this is itty bitty.
Yep.
Daily case rate 3 million? Is that what that is? No, I'm sorry, 1.8?
I mean, it's a Saturday, remember? It's a Sunday. So...
3 million cases a day?
January 12th.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Entire country's just getting COVID in one day.
Holy cow. Wait. Have we passed our record for the most in a day?
Yeah.
815? I think the last I saw a record was like 300.
Yep.
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
I think that was the last time I saw a record.
Yep. It is worse now than ever.
We shattered it.
Yep. Almost 1 million.
Holy cow, we shattered our record.
Yep.
I don't think that's a good thing. No, actually, was it this over here? I think it was this over here. 2021.
Yeah. And remember how we thought it was
Because
bad?
I think when it hit, I think it just crossed 300,000 for the first time in a day. And then it just kept going down.
Remember,
it went up a little.
let me see this.
That's what it was.
Remember this here when we weren't allowed to go to the bar. We weren't allowed to go anywhere because of this. That amount. Yeah. Now I can still go to the bar, suck down a brewski, while
What's crazy is
while half the population of Nebraska
what's
is getting
crazy
COVID
is,
per day.
So when it was this, it was like, shh. Damn, schools are closing. We're living in hell. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. Now,
woo! Let's have a party!
Freaking a week ago, hey, I can walk around without a mask.
Yep.
I can walk around without a mask. What is America doing? What is America? Literally, they got rid of the mask mandate if you're vaccinated, and then Lancaster County brought it back. But it's like, hello?
Yep.
Flatten the curve. Hello.
Yep.
Are we what? Flattening the curve vertically?
Yep.
What are we trying to do here?
Okay, so no.
Are we trying to flatten it horizontally or vertically?
Look
at this.
This all arcs back to Donald spreading these lies. Actually, he's just against mandates. He wants people to get vaccinated. He's just against the mandates. But it all harks back to this spread of misinformation. And that's the real cause of this whole thing. Is that if this has happened 20 years ago, had COVID happened 20 years ago, I'm not quite sure how they would have handled the whole... A vaccine would have taken a lot longer. There'd be a lot more deaths, but I don't but like the vaccination rates would be a lot better.
People aren't getting better much faster.
Well, yeah, because there's just so many more people.
Yeah.
And so like
there's so many more people getting it. I guess recovery rate might be the same. It's not offsetting by the number of people that are getting
Omicron is less.
Deaths are going up. They haven't. It doesn't look. Maybe right here it flatlined.
Yeah, because obviously the vaccines are working, as you can see. They're just they're hitting their limits.
I guess deaths have gone down.
The vaccines are doing their jobs. They're stopping people. They're not stopping people from getting it. They're stopping people from dying from it. Remember, Nebraska doesn't report. Yep, look at this. We don't even report. We had all NAs because we don't report it anymore.
Yeah.
Because rickets
what is that?
Is just, it's ads.
Yeah, I know.
For naked women.
Yeah. This is what our country has come to. Yes or no?
Don't click on that. I don't want to.
Should we take a poll? Let's see what everyone else is doing.
See, I hate these.
It's a live poll. Can we see what it is live? Like what? Do you think it's split 50-50 or do you think?
Oh no, Joe's approval rating's pretty low. But that's the thing. It's not his fault.
Yeah. To be
look
fair,
what he was handed.
Yeah.
And look,
he was given a bad hand.
He was given a bad hand.
I
mean, truth be told, I didn't expect Joe to do much, anyways. But then nobody expected Trump to hold on to the power that he has.
This was it say January? So I guess they did report some cases. I guess, are they just really behind or are they just not reporting?
They're just not reporting everything.
Oh, everything.
Yeah, they're reporting some things, not all things. Like, I'm assuming the university's reporting stuff.
I remember. This is back in March. When we had like that spike, and then it dropped, I thought we were never going to go back up past that because it just dropped so much.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the highest point we'd ever see.
Yep.
Just because it was like, it dropped, was that half?
Yep.
And cases just were not increasing very much. And look, they were actually going down.
Yep.
And then they started picking up because, well, this is around the time with all the riots and stuff. And so you had big crowds and people were getting infected just because it was right around that same area. And then school got back in session.
Yep.
And then it was still iffy if we were ever going to pass that because that was 14,000. But oh no, you give some time for all the school kids to come rolling in. You know,
everybody went on for holidays.
Yep. And then everyone goes home for holidays and stuff. You know, they go on family trips or to see family. Where did it? Yeah. And then now, oh, there's no stopping us now. There's no stopping us.
Well, anyways, I mean, the real issue now is nobody expected Donald to be able to manipulate and control the public in the way that he does and has, even without his social media.
The whole point of going there was to look at. Vaccination tracker. What is this? Share population receiving at least one dose.
So we're still good compared to other countries, but
63% is fully vaccinated. It goes somewhere like China, 87% fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
So, do they have like a list? Oh, they do. The UAE is 94% fully vaccinated.
Very nice.
This is cool. Portugal, Cuba, Chile,
Qatar, Canada. And the issue, and the U.S. is just going to slowly fall behind because people are just refusing to get it.
Where is...
Because they seem to think that there's...
Oh, there we are.
I don't know. I don't even know.
We're a little ways down the list.
Wait, freaking...
We're a little ways down the list.
I don't understand what... what's the logic there?
Oh, this is additional. Yeah.
I don't understand. What's people's logic behind not getting the vaccine at this point?
I think they're just trying to...
Oh, that was my email. All right.
Yeah, you might want to blur that.
Great. More...
You might want to blur that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's not your fault. Stupid New York Times lets me subscribe. Anyway.
Wait, you did? Or
no,
once you?
Once me too. Anyways. Yeah, I just don't understand. What are people... What's the logic? What is their reasoning?
See, I was just thinking why should I have to put some foreign substance into my body? I don't know what the government's doing for me. I wonder if it's something along that. But see, the thing is, people get tetanus shots and rabies shots and what's the other thing? It's smallpox, like all those shots.
We have been getting vaccines for decades, and now for whatever reason, we had a... I mean, is the government less trustworthy now? In some ways, yes. Some ways, no. It really depends on what metric you're measuring by. Mm-hmm. Is the U.S. more corrupt now than it was in the past? Yes, in some ways. In other ways, no. I would say it's less corrupt than it was in the early 1900s. But at the same time, we had Jim Crow laws then. We also had literally just people being persecuted for being communists in the 50s. So it's the U.S. is less corrupt for minorities now, but as for just the majority of the thing, it's probably more corrupt, if that makes sense. We're not chasing down minority groups and prosecuting them and throwing them in camps like we were in the past, but as for the majority of the people, we're treating them worse. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it's at. But
is it just we just bad at getting
poor.
resources?
They're poor.
But it's a free shot.
Well, it has to be free because you have to buy it.
Oh.
Your government has to buy it. Well, they can't. do that.
Oh, that reminds me.
Plus, they don't have the money to like distribute it.
It's not on the list.
Probably not. Most people don't count it really as a country.
It is to a country.
Yeah, but like it's not.
It is to a country. Country.
Right. Yeah,
That
but the New
says
York
country.
Times doesn't care.
Why?
Well, also,
What
there's
is-
like 90 people live in the country.
I'm sure that's more than that.
I know it's a few thousand, but it's like 10,000 people or whatever.
11,000. They're doing good. They're holding strong. Look at their rate. They're increasing.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's see what I want to see what the lowest one actually was. Where is this at?
Burundi? What is the even point of reporting that? Such a small part of the population. Somewhere in Africa.
Country in Africa. Population 11 million.
That was. Ooh. It's got 3.25
East
GDP.
Africa.
Jesus.
Where is this at?
3.25 billion. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Oh, it's a tiny. Oh, it's right next to like Rwanda. Yep.
Rwanda.
Which is funny because like right north of them, Rwanda is I think one of the highest vaccinated rates in all of Africa. Which is funny.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Rwanda is doing a fantastic job of developing their country. They're trying to do about it in pretty much all the correct ways. They just have some corruption still to take care of.
What?
Rwanda.
Yeah.
Romania, Jordan, Siberia, Serbia, Kazakhstan. Well, they're having issues right now. I will tell you that much. Uruguay, Slovenia, Botswana, Nepal, Bangladesh,
Oh.
Honduras,
come on, let's
Russia. At least we're doing better than Russia. And they have an authoritarian regime, so that's kind of impressive. Uzbekistan, I forgot about Uzbekistan being a thing. Slovenia, French, Polynesia, Oman. Anyways, the point is, yeah, if we look right there, Rwanda, look at that. Doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. And then you just one country over.
Yeah, nothing. But again, like I said, Rwanda's doing a great job at developing itself. I mean, we have all kinds of people come to University of Nebraska from Rwanda, and they're studying how can they start companies and develop their economy in Rwanda, and that's awesome. So the country they're doing their due diligence. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know the people that get vaccines. It just irritates me. Yeah. And I literally wake up days and there are days where I think now, like, there's songs that I really liked, that were like patriotic, whatever. I get sick listening to them now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's like, oh yeah, America this, America that. It's like, I don't want to be an American right now.
Well, at least I know I'm free.
I mean, I'm free, but those freedoms are starting to cause
What is freedom?
issues.
I mean, doesn't every other country have freedom?
No.
Doesn't France have freedom?
I mean, you can't.
Doesn't Germany
the
have freedom?
beauty of America is I could walk around with a Glock sticking out of my pants and no one's going to care.
Is that a good thing? I don't know that that's a good thing.
I don't know.
I don't think that's a good thing, sir.
I mean, at least they're not going to shoot you. Unlike in other countries, they walk around with an AK-47. You're not sure.
But I don't know. But there's some parts, I don't know if they're like animals. You don't touch them, they won't hurt you. I don't know if that really translates for people.
That applies.
To most people, yes, but there are just some crazy people where you don't touch them, and the next thing you know, bang bang.
See, that's when you need to have a gun sticking out of your pants. Because then they're like, oh, you're a gun enthusiast as well. Second Amendment. And they still talk to you. Yeah, Second Amendment.
Second Amendment.
Woo!
Yes.
See?
Let's,
and then
let's walk down Havelock going, Second Amendment. Second Amendment.
Even though your gun is completely fake, because you're doing it just to assimilate. See, that's That's the issue there.
The right to form a militia.
I don't know if a guy walking around the street with a Glock's a militia, but power to him. The only issue is, because of how many people having firearms, we now basically have an entire army of people that, well, could take over the Capitol building if they really, really wanted to. And that's the issue they're worried about now is if Trump runs 2024.
Where'd you get these pins from? They have these all over the place where I work.
I don't know.
Is this like a United pen?
I have no idea.
Because I see these all the
I
time.
have no idea where I got them. I've just built.
Because I have like 3 of them at my desk.
Anyways, no, but even if Trump wins, I don't know. Honestly, best case scenario is Trump wins. Worst case scenario is if he loses. Because, like, I kind of have this part of me that kind of hopes that the left will be more controlled and won't try and overthrow the government if Trump wins. That's like, I don't want him to win, but at the same time, at least the country won't fall into a regime, or at least the country won't tear itself into two, and we'll be having to move to California or Colorado because, well, to be fair, this state is going to be on the red side, and I don't know if you want to be on the red side of things.
Well, why not just move out west? No one really cares about the government out west, do they?
It's worse there.
Everyone just feels like they just do their own farming thing and just do their own little thing.
The issue with going out west is you're not going to be able to get resources. I'm telling you,
You can still.
Here's what's going to happen.
Oh, you don't think it'll be too hard to get food?
That's exactly what's going. Here's what's going to happen.
You think so?
War is gonna. It's not gonna be really a war. It's just gonna be a mass migration. You're gonna have people moving out of this. You're gonna have people from like Nebraska moving to the south. And we're gonna have those people moving to these other states where those are the states that are separating. Those are the states that are gonna be right, and everybody on left wing in those states is gonna be getting the hell out of there. So most of the cities they're gonna get up and just move. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to end up places like Colorado and California where there's already a homeless population issue. Now it's going to be overrun with all these effectively refugees, these people that didn't want to live in these other states. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like people moving from Mexico to the U.S., but instead it's going to be like U.S. people going to Canada. Because they're not going to want to be here under an authority. Yeah. Well, they might even want to go to Mexico. Because at least there they have somewhat of a democracy. Where here there won't be a democracy anymore.
I think it'd just be funny to say illegals are illegally crossing back to the original country. Now you have Americans illegally crossing back into Mexico.
Well, yeah, because America won't be a democracy at this point. If Trump loses... He will
But what's the problem with food, though? Go into that.
Well, when you have society breaking down like that, I mean, look at the pandemic. All it did was you lost a few truckers, and now frickin' you can't get your Barbie doll. Imagine if a civil war breaks out. You ain't getting anything, my guy.
Now that I think about it, have you walked into Hy-Vee recently?
No. Are the shelves kind of bare?
Well, I guess the problem was yesterday. The thing I'm referencing is yesterday. I guess they didn't have enough help with truckers.
Great.
And so because they didn't have enough truckers, they didn't have a produce truck. I know they didn't have a dairy truck, but I think they also didn't have a produce truck. Because I went shopping yesterday in produce, it did not look very bright.
Well, yeah, it's weird.
And dairy especially, you cannot find any Pillsbury biscuit rolls.
Great.
That whole section is just wiped. Yogurt, pretty shot. They still got milk, so you still got some of your necessities. Still going to get some calcium. Meat department still is riding high, but prices have jumped severely because of the supply issue.
Right. And
chicken and ground beef, is
right, and that's being caused by people coughing on each other. Now imagine people coughing on each other with lead bullets. Now, imagine how much more fun.
Imagine.
Now you're gonna have people in, they gotta feed their army because they're trying to overthrow the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. They gotta feed their army, so they're going to WalMarts and raiding the place. They're gonna be hijacking, towns and stuff. And the U.S. The other issue is if the U.S. military. There's two issues with the U.S. military. There's either they won't know who the president is, and that's going to be an issue. If they get confused, oh boy, then we won't have a military. If they don't get confused, they still might not want to shoot civilians, despite the fact.
Why would they want to shoot civilians in the first place?
Well, these civilians are heavily armed, and now you're being asked go shoot your brother. Or your cousin, or your dad. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But they're rebels. I mean, it's the Civil War all over again. Because it will be a Civil War.
It will be? Like guaranteed? Like, do I have something to look forward to?
Some of these things that I'm reading, there is a high likelihood by 2030 there will not be democracy in the United States. And there might not even be a United States.
And this is all due to the virus, or was this inevitable from, like, presidency and, like, just...
It's all because of Donald. It was it was broiling and bubbling, but because of just...
What did Don do?
He saw there was two extremes. And he made one of them. He just saw like, okay, we kind of have two parties. They're kind of extreme. Let's make them radical now. Yeah. Fire them up. And somehow he did it with fake news.
And he made America great again, right? Is America great again?
It's worse now than ever.
But we do, never mind.
It gives me a pit in my stomach, and it honestly, I'm genuinely kind of scared for the future. Honestly, we'll just next segment.